In this talk we're going to deal with JIT, just in time, and lean operations. Now this particular session is going to be a little superficial. We're just going to introduce some of the terms. I'm not going to look in great detail at some of them, just mention the names if anything and pass on. So it's a very light overview of some of the issues associated with the introduction of JIT and lean operations within a business. So to start, first of all, let's talk about JIT and quality. Well, for a start, there is a strong relationship. JIT cuts across the cost of obtaining good quality, because JIT exposes poor quality. The idea of JIT, just in time, is to try and look for good quality that arrives in the production area just in time for production. It's not wasted capital, it doesn't go into the stores, so deliveries don't go to stores, get booked into stores, wait in the stores, are then booked out by production people and produced. In the JIT world, the products arrive which are good quality, and they're checked to be good quality, and they arrive just in time for production to take place. So they arrive, if you like, from the lorry onto the machine. They don't arrive from the lorry into the stores and then at a later date come from the stores onto the machine. So it's a much more efficient system. Because lead times are shorter, quality problems are exposed sooner. Well, because the lead times, the time between placing the order and receiving it, are very short, then any quality issues are exposed immediately. People are producing just what's needed. The companies are producing just what's required, delivering them just on time. So if there's a quality issue, it's shown up immediately. It's shown up immediately because the goods, as I said, the components or the raw materials, whatever it is, these come off let's say the lorry, they're going straight to the machine to be processed. If there's a quality issue, it's identified at that moment. So there is no lingering quality problem. It's dealt with immediately. Better quality means fewer buffers and allows simpler JIT systems to be used. So having good quality production, good quality control on production in the supplier's company means the supplies are good quality, which go to the next company for processing into the final product, if we just imagine that scenario. Then the good quality means that stocks do not have to be held just in case. So the company who's buying in the components don't have to hold a stock just in case there is a quality issue. They know that the company supplying will have good quality, so there's no buffer stocks required. And the JIT system is very simple. The company places the order when they need the supplies, and the company supplying it meet that requirement, deliver exactly when the commitment is, and it's good quality. Of course, this is a very idealized world. Sometimes the company that's supplying may have a machine that breaks down, or it may distribute the items on a lorry that breaks down, or on a lorry that gets stuck in traffic somewhere, or is diverted by the authorities onto different roads and arrives late. There are issues that JIT needs to address as well, and we need to think about when we talk about this super efficient system, the just-in-time system. We need to be careful to allow for hold-ups of one form or another that can happen. The tactics to get good quality in a JIT system are to use statistical process control. that's generally the way. They try to process information coming off the machines, measure the time it takes, and look at the wastage associated. What they're trying to do is to look statistically into the production process, and also to empower the employees to be involved in quality issues, that the employees are looking at the output, making sure that the output is good quality, and the employees have the power to perhaps even turn off the machine or call in extra support if something is going wrong. So the employees are not simply operatives who press buttons and make the machine go, but the employees are looking at the quality of the output also. They're an extra set of eyes, they're an extra set of hands that are involved in the quality control process. I said earlier that I'm not going to get involved in many of the concepts, but I would like you to look into Poka-yoke and checklists. Just research them yourselves. There's plenty of videos coming up in this course on these subjects. So these are topics we'll deal with later. But for the moment, all I want to say here is that we need built-in fail-safe methods. We need contingency plans. If something goes wrong with the machine, or if the quality falls, there must be some sort of backup. There must be some way in which production can continue and the problem can be fixed, and there's no significant impact on the overall efficiency or production of the business. So there should be built-in fail-safe mechanisms, some sort of rerouting of the production or some sort of backup. Now that may fly in the face of JIT, this very efficient method, but there may be some element of redundancy, small amount of redundancy somewhere in the system should be programmed in, or scheduling work should accommodate the possibility of there being some sort of failure. The idea with JIT is that there's always small amounts of work going through. There's no big orders coming in, going into the stores and being booked out from the stores. The deliveries are therefore much smaller because the company may be looking for a delivery each day, as opposed to placing an order once a month and holding 30 days or 20 days of stock. It's placing an order every day, so that the amounts delivered are a lot smaller. So it's easier to monitor the quality on smaller amounts. It's easier to check them to make sure the components or the raw materials or whatever it is are of good quality, because the quantity delivered is smaller. So checking is much easier. And of course, there's immediate feedback. If there's something wrong, the company that's supplying can be told immediately there's a problem with the quality of this product. This raw material is not up to required standard or whatever. So the feedback to the company supplying is immediate, and they can take action to fix the problem and make sure that future deliveries are 100% good quality as per the expectation of the buyer. Lean operations, well, different from JIT in that it is externally focused on the customer. So JIT is looking at the production system inside, getting everything just in time, everything synchronized ideally, running very smoothly and continuously. So it's almost a case with JIT that the suppliers on the outside are part of the production system of the business. They are delivering small quantities on the day, getting it processed, and the whole system is synchronized and running smoothly together. Lean has got an external focus. Lean is looking at the customer. It starts with understanding what the customer wants. So this whole process of lean operations is looking at customer requirements. What do the customers want? and then optimize the entire process from the customer's perspective. That means looking at what the customers want, looking at the production system in place, and trying to optimize the whole process so the customer gets the product that they want, the quality they want, in the time scale that they want. So building a lean organization, well, it means transitioning to a lean system can be difficult. It can be difficult for all sorts of reasons. Setting it up, designing the plant layout, designing the production system can be difficult. But also changing the psychology of the workers, changing the culture of the business so that it is more lean orientated. That can be a problem. Moving the employees in a way, and the line managers, moving them to this idea of focusing on customer requirements and producing it efficiently with the customer in mind. Lean systems tend to have the following attributes. They tend to use JIT techniques. So the same efficiency throughout the system as we talked about earlier, except now we have got this extra dimension. We're looking now entirely at the customer's requirements and what the customer feels and thinks about the business and their experiences of dealing with the business. So we have JIT plus the customer. It builds systems that help employees produce perfect parts. So it's designed to have very high quality. It's designed to be efficient so that the use of machinery is optimized, the use of computer systems is optimized, the available space, perhaps on the shop floor, is optimized. Everything should fit together and should be carefully engineered and designed to fit together. And the focus is on producing the product that meets the customer's requirements. So it reduces the space, as I said, it reduces the requirements, the overheads of the business. So just instead of looking at just the space on the shop floor, look at the overall overheads of the business. Try to reduce all of those. So it's getting JIT, a just-in-time technique, in place, but the efficiency of that is targeted specifically on the customer experience of the product at the end. Now, building the lean organization means developing partnerships with suppliers. So the suppliers can deliver as per the requirements of the business. They can deliver on a daily basis, or they could deliver on an hourly basis, or whatever the requirement is. So it's important to have good working relationships with the suppliers. And the suppliers need to know why they're doing this. The suppliers need to know why does this business need such small quantities on such regular intervals. So the suppliers need to be aware and be on board about what the company is trying to do. And all activities that are not adding value should be eliminated. Activities that take place that do not add value to the business, do not add value in terms of production or distribution or whatever, any activity that does not add value should be eliminated. It's not a necessary activity, therefore it should be stopped. And employees should be developed so that they understand the system, they understand what's required from the system, they understand their importance within the system, and they also have a heavy emphasis on monitoring quality. But the jobs themselves are challenging. The jobs motivate the workers. They are not menial jobs, they're not small jobs requiring someone to just simply press a button every so many seconds. These are jobs which require the workers to participate, to be involved. They're engaged in the whole process and they understand the process. And the workers can move from one section to the other. They can move to different jobs. Jobs are designed so that workers can move between the jobs, which will vary the working life of the working experiences, I should say, of the worker. The worker will have more satisfaction because they're not stuck in the same job for the rest of their lives. They move from one job to the next, and they get new experiences and new perspectives and just a new scenery. They're located in a different part of the business, perhaps. Now, in services, well, JIT techniques used in manufacturing are also used in services. For example, the suppliers need to know in services when the items are required. Let's consider a restaurant. The customer enters the restaurant. The customer wants a meal. The suppliers need to know when the meal is required. How long have they got to cook it, to prepare the meal and deliver it to the customer at the table. So suppliers need to be aware of what's required. And layouts should be set up in a way that it facilitates efficiency. It facilitates the flow of perhaps services throughout the organization, if it's a service-based organization. The various services that are contributing, from design to delivery to marketing to whatever, all of these are laid out in a way that it's efficient for them to be in contact and to collaborate. And with services, it may be difficult to hold inventories because services tend to be consumed on the spot. But some, for example, the case of the restaurant I mentioned earlier, they may hold some food stocks in storage. They may have some reserves, and these need to be carefully monitored and managed. But other services, for example, marketing, well, there may not be an inventory of production. There may be a set of ideas, and people are working on the set of ideas. It's not really an inventory that can be stored away. It may be written down, or it may be stored on a computer system, but it's not inventory as we generally think of it. Services can be also scheduled in the same way as production can be scheduled. There's no reason why a sequence of events can't be set up, one knocking on to the next, so that there is a process, like a production process, even though it's dealing with services. For example, in accountancy, someone may receive the payments from past customers, and that person may process those and enter them into various ledgers electronically, but depends, someone else may need to look at it, or it may need to go to budgeting to see how the budgets are affected by this. A lot of this may happen electronically because software is very sophisticated. But there may be people involved in the process who are there to monitor, to check, and to ensure. And if something goes wrong, it will certainly require people to progress the payments or progress some pieces of information or whatever is required. So there may be scheduling involved, even though it's a service-based industry. But generally speaking, services tend to be consumed on the spot. With scheduling and inventory, if it's the fashion trade, for example, there might be a stock of cloth, of garments that's held by the company. And if it's preparing for a fashion show, it may need to schedule production and schedule events, practicing and design and so on, until the final event takes place. So we can imagine there have been suppliers, there have been issues about layout and inventory and scheduling. But that's really all we need to do in this session. As I said it right at the outset, this is just a very brief overview of the importance of JIT and a general introduction into lean production and lean operations. And these will be developed much more deeply in videos on this course later. But that's all I'm going to do for this session, so I'm going to leave it at that and say thank you for watching.